The kidnapping, rape and murder of Sarah Everard triggered an independent review into the Metropolitan Police by Baroness Louise Casey. And that review just concluded that the Metropolitan Police is institutionally racist, sexist and homophobic, with 22% of officers reporting that they've been bullied, 30% of LGBT plus officers saying they've been bullied, and 33% of people with disabilities. And the crazy thing is, Suella I Have a Dream of Sending Refugees to Rwanda Braverman actually agreed with some of the findings.
Discrimination must be tackled in all its forms to stamp out racist, misogynistic and homophobic behaviour. I'm working with Chief Constables on a programme to drive up standards and improve culture across police forces at a national level.
Okay, so you accept that the problem of racism, sexism and homophobia is a culture issue within the police, but don't you also use woke as an insult? You know, the idea of being aware of those problems and wanting to stop them? And didn't you explicitly tell the police that the idea of being politically correct was a distraction that they should avoid? And when Labour points that out to you, what did you say?
I'm disappointed by the Right Honourable Lady's tone. Today is not a day for crass political point scoring.
That's funny. That reminds me of something I said last week. When the government don't like a movement, they call it political. If you're the ones in power, anything that seeks to change the status quo is a threat to you. So you say they're just trying to score political points, even if it's a matter of life and death. And you use the same defense against the police being called institutionally racist.
On the topic of institutional racism, it's not a helpful term to use. It's an ambiguous, contested, and politically charged term that is much misused and risks making it harder for officers to win back the trust of communities.
The report literally complains about the problem of optimism bias, whereby the Metropolitan Police refuses to acknowledge that this is a problem with the way the institution operates as a whole, instead choosing to point the finger at bad apples, i.e. just a couple of individual racist and sexist. So by refusing to acknowledge that this is an institutional problem, Suella Braverman is doing exactly what the report condemns. Sarah Everard was killed because a Metropolitan Police officer with such a well-known history of sexual misconduct that he was known within the force as the rapist was allowed to keep doing his job as a police officer. If that's not a problem with the institution as a whole, I don't know what is. But denying that a problem exists is the best way to ensure that nobody ever solves it, which is why the race report from a couple of years ago, which was commissioned and edited by the Tory party, and just so happened to conclude that there was no evidence of institutional racism in the UK, was condemned as an attempt to normalise white supremacy by the United Nations. And this report acknowledges the fact that black people are stopped and searched by police disproportionately more than white people, and even makes the link that that's because there's more crime in poorer areas and black people are more likely to live in those poorer areas. But unfortunately, because it's a police report, it can't answer the question as to why that is. For that, you have to go to the race report done by the government and also research done by Oxford University, both of which show that if you've got a black sounding name, you have to send 80% more job applications to get a callback, which means that in the UK, your ability to get a better quality of life and therefore live in one of those richer areas with less crime passes through a filter of racism. So the government knows that the way to end that kind of systemic racism is to pump more money and jobs into those deprived urban areas. So what have they been doing?
Because we inherited a bunch of formulas from the Labour Party that shoved all the funding into deprived urban areas, then that needed to be undone. I started the work of undoing that.
And what do they call the people who called them out on that?
Guardian reading, tofu eating, wokarati.
But don't worry, they're ethnic minorities, and that's always a firm guarantee that they're on the right side when it comes to issues of race. So I'm sure the Metropolitan Police will be a beacon of tolerance and equality in no time. Right?